So check this out, y'all. Wendy Williams has been screaming about Diddy's freak-off parties since 1998. And now, with everything that's come out, people are finally realizing she wasn't just being messy. She was telling the truth. And the fact that both Usher and Justin Bieber were in that man's orbit when they were barely teenagers, that's the part nobody wants to sit with right now. Now, in case you haven't been following this, here's what you need to know. Wendy Williams spent decades on Hot 97 radio exposing Diddy's alleged secret lifestyle. The gay freak-off parties, the industry blackmail, the way he allegedly silenced anyone who got too close to the truth.
Did you get fired for making fun of Puffy?
Yeah, by Hot 97. I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? It
came down to gay rappers. That's what it was.
Gay rappers and
exposing them.
and exposing.
Then in September 2024, Diddy was federally indicted for sex trafficking, racketeering, and running what the actual indictment described as filmed freak-offs involving drugged victims, baby oil, and blackmail. And once that happened, every single thing Wendy had been saying for over 20 years suddenly stopped sounding crazy. Now add this. Usher Raymond was sent to live with Diddy by his own label head at 14 years old and has since confirmed on record that he witnessed orgies in that house. And Justin Bieber? There is a YouTube video uploaded by Bieber himself in 2009 when he was 15 years old called 48 Hours with Diddy. Once you understand that pipeline, everything Wendy was saying back then starts to make a whole lot more sense. Now, most people don't know this, but Wendy Williams has been on Diddy's case since Bill Clinton was still in the White House. Back in 1998, Wendy was on Hot 97 making noise about Diddy being gay and allegedly having photos to back it up. And get this, almost immediately after she was fired and pushed out of every major radio station in New York. Diddy denied involvement publicly, but according to reporting in Vibe magazine, he allegedly pulled serious industry strings to make sure Wendy couldn't work in that city. He pushed her out, she went to New Jersey, and even then, she never fully stopped. By 1999, when Diddy walked out of that club shooting situation and 19-year-old Shine ended up going to jail, Wendy was the only person in media bold enough to say what a lot of people were thinking. Everybody bought into the narrative Diddy was selling. Wendy didn't. She said flat out that Shine was set up to take the fall and she wasn't whispering it either. They eventually patched things up publicly, but even that felt surface level. Because by 2015, when Cassie and Diddy split, Wendy was already on her show describing him as a controlling mogul, while Cassie was still being publicly linked to him and nobody else was willing to go there. Then in 2017, Diddy came on the Wendy Williams show. And people have been rewatching that clip ever since the arrest, because at one point during that interview, Diddy mentioned that he had met Wendy's then 16-year-old son backstage. Watch the clip.
As the mother of a now 16-year-old.
Who I met backstage, who is
Cute.
Yes.
You
Watch her face. She tenses up. She stumbles over her words. She is visibly uncomfortable in a way that is hard to explain if you're just watching two people catching up. Tell me that doesn't sound sketchy. And then in September 2024, right after Diddy got locked up, Wendy gave an interview to the Daily Mail and said, "It's about time," and asked how many more women would have to come forward. She had been collecting receipts on this man for over 2 decades, and somebody clearly noticed. But it doesn't end there, because Wendy wasn't just watching Diddy. She was watching who he was bringing into his world. And get this, Usher Raymond was sent to live in Diddy's home by his own label head when he was 14 years old. L.A. Reid made that call as part of Usher's development deal. And this is not alleged. This is confirmed. Usher has spoken about it. In a 2016 interview with Howard Stern, he described the experience as wild, said he witnessed orgies, and added that he would absolutely never send his own kids to something like that. He was 14, living in a grown man's house, witnessing things no child should be anywhere near.
I moved to New York City,
and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp
There you go.
to learn some...
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was,
So nobody
it was crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I ain't say that.
Okay.
I didn't
But
say
you
that.
didn't...
Not only that, but when Diddy got arrested in September 2024, Usher's social media accounts were suddenly and completely wiped. His team rushed out a statement claiming he had been hacked. Now, maybe that's true. But the timing of it, right when every old Usher and Diddy video was going viral and people were watching frame by frame, did not sit well with a lot of people. The hacked excuse felt thin. Word on the street is that Usher knew far more than he has ever publicly said. And what makes that even more complicated is that in May 2025, Dawn Richard gave testimony in court that named Usher as being present at a 2010 dinner where Diddy punched Cassie in the face. Usher was there. According to Dawn, nobody intervened. Not Usher, not Neo, not Jimmy Iovine. Whether people want to agree with him or not, growing up inside that environment affects a person in ways that are hard to fully understand from the outside. Usher was a kid who got handed to a predator by the adults who were supposed to protect him. And the fact that he is still being careful about what he says publicly, that tells you something about how much power those NDAs and that blackmail machine still have over people even now. The hacked account excuse didn't land with a lot of people. And honestly, after everything that's come out, you really can't blame them for being suspicious. But if y'all thought the Usher situation was wild, then wait till you hear what people are saying about Justin Bieber. Oh, but if y'all thought that was already messy, then wait. In 2009, a 15-year-old Justin Bieber uploaded a video to his own YouTube channel. He called it 48 Hours with Diddy. He uploaded it himself. And in that video, Diddy looks directly at the camera and says they can't really disclose what they've been doing. And at another point, describes the whole thing as a 15-year-old's dream. In 2009, that probably sounded like celebrity hype content. In 2024, after a federal indictment describing filmed freak-offs and drugged victims, that clip hits completely different. After Diddy's arrest, compilation videos of Bieber and Diddy together went massively viral. People were going through old footage frame by frame, and what they kept coming back to was not just the 48 Hours video. It was also the years of public comments Bieber has made about losing himself, about feeling like his childhood was stolen, about having to heal from things he experienced in the industry. He said these things in interviews, in his own documentary, and songs. People are now reading all of it through a very different lens. And get this, Bieber has said absolutely nothing about Diddy since their arrest. Nothing. Not one word. Now, there are people online making claims about dark web tapes allegedly featuring Bieber. Jaguar Wright has pushed some of those allegations publicly. But those claims have not been verified, and Snopes flagged several AI-generated fake testimony videos about this entire situation as completely debunked as recently as May 2025. So those claims? Take them with serious caution. What is not debunked is the video. What is not debunked is the quote. What is not debunked is the silence. A grown man telling the camera he can't disclose what a 15-year-old is doing with him for 48 hours. In 2024, that clip hits very different. So remember what we said about Wendy knowing too much. Well, word on the street is that's exactly why she's where she is today. Now here's where it all comes together. And it's the part that should make everyone very uncomfortable. Wendy Williams is currently under a conservatorship. Her finances and her personal decisions are being controlled by a court-appointed guardian, the same way Britney Spears spent over a decade having every aspect of her life controlled by the people around her. And if you remember what happened to Britney, 10 years of lithium, her own family using her condition against her in court, her begging a judge just to be allowed to speak, then you already understand the pattern. Because word on the street is that the same thing was done to Kanye. He has said publicly that doctors tried to put him on a staggering amount of lithium that it took them 4 days to answer when he asked exactly how much because they were embarrassed by the number, and that if he had taken it, he would not be here today. They would have had him medicated into silence and called it mental illness. They would have said he was deeply troubled. They would have said, we love his music though. And get this, right when Wendy started getting loudest about Diddy and Jay-Z and Kathy White and everything she had been quietly sitting on for years, her health collapsed. Suddenly, a 2024 documentary called Where is Wendy Williams showed her in a state that shocked people who had watched her for years. She was diagnosed with lymphedema and frontotemporal dementia. Her team placed her under a conservatorship, and now she can barely speak publicly at all. Wendy had insiders in every corner of that industry. She knew about Kathy White before anyone was talking about Kathy White. She knew about the freak-off parties before the feds gave them a name. She was the first to say something was wrong with how Kim Porter died. She was calling out Diddy's behavior with Cassie years before the elevator footage. And now she is locked away under a guardian while the people she was exposing are either in federal court or still untouched. Whether people want to believe it or not, Wendy Williams spent 26 years being the loudest voice in the room. And now she can barely speak for herself. You tell me if that's a coincidence. As usual, people had their thoughts. Like this person who said Wendy was never messy. She was a journalist, and the whole industry knew it. They just needed everyone to think she was a joke so nobody would listen. Another person said Usher and Bieber were both kids handed to a predator by the adults who were supposed to protect them, and the real criminals are the label executives who made that call and walked away clean. But now I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Wendy Williams was thrown into a conservatorship because she knew too much about Diddy, Usher, and everything that went on with Bieber? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.